welcome everybody to our second session. For those, I know you guys, for those who are new, welcome. And yeah, we'll take you through scanning without using a scanner on the Mac. And we're using your iPad and so on. So guys, if you have, we will of course take Q&As at the end of our presentation, and yeah, then if you want to, if you know how to work with Zoom, under your participants panel, there's a little raise hands gesture. If you can't find it, you can just show us a thumbs up or just raise your hand on the screen, and we will unmute you so that you can ask your question. If we can't reach your questions at the end of our session, you're welcome just to put it down under our chats, or you can email it directly to myself as well. It's angela@digicap.co.za. Yeah, whatever is easiest for you guys. Anyway, now I'm going to hand it over to Alan. Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Ange. I just spot myself. So, hi everybody. Forgive the lighting. I know it looks a little bit celestial, but the sun just came out really brightly, and I haven't had a chance to put anything down there. But you're not going to be watching me for a lot of the time. We're going to be watching the screen. So today we're going to be dealing with how to scan without a scanner. And I think that one of the things that we know and love about Apple is that they create the whole ecosystem. They make the hardware and the software, and everything just works together. But for years, that kind of related to the Mac. You know, they made the hardware, the software, so things worked. It was less likely for there to be bugs. But now the ecosystem's expanded hugely. We've got iPhones, we've got iPads, we've got watches, we've got, well, not in this country yet, we've got HomePods. And these things work together really well. So we're going to be covering using the iPhone or the iPad as a standalone scanner. Then we're going to use the iPhone or as an iPad as an input device for your Mac. Then we're going to look at Universal Clipboard, and then we're going to look at Handoff. All of these things require that you're signed into iCloud with exactly the same Apple ID. If you don't do that, it won't work. So let's get going. Share my desktop with you. Okay, can everybody see my screen all right? So what I'm going to do first, just minimize this, is I'll bring my iPad out onto the screen. And the first thing I want to do is just scan a document. So I'm going to take notes, open up the Notes app, and I'm going to create a new note. Now, in the bottom corner, I've got my camera. So if I tap on the camera, you'll see it gives me the option to either, just move that off there, scan a document, take a photo, or access my photo library. So if I choose Scan Document, it opens up the camera, and I'm going to hold this over a document, and you can see this little yellow tinge trying to identify a document. And I can do more pages now if I want to. I'm just going to tap Save, and I've created a document which I can now use on my iPad. Now, I can mark this up if I wanted to. I can select the document. I can adjust brightness and contrast. I can make it a grayscale image. I can make it a black and white image. I can make it a color photo. So it gives me some kind of minor abilities to adjust what I'm doing. But in the main, that's kind of a straight document. If I tap the share sheet, I can tap markup. And now I've got access to all the tools that I just have at my disposal. Those of you who saw Angelo's presentation yesterday about marking up a PDF inside Mail, well, you've got exactly the same tools. I can highlight things, I can draw on them. I've got a document which I can work with. So that's my first opportunity to do some scanning. Interestingly, if I tap Done, Notes doesn't do OCR on your documents when you scan them, which for those who don't know is optical character recognition, but it does scan the document and keep it in memory so that you can search this text now. So if I tap and go to the left and see my notes heading, can you see up in the top left-hand corner here, it's taken the first word of my sentence, my first word of my scan, and it says chapter 1 over there. It's taken that first word and it's identified that note by the text over there. So even though I can't copy and paste the text, I can still search all my notes for any word inside that text and it'll find this document, which is a very cool thing. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's just using your iPhone, your iPad as a scanner. The next thing that I want to do is maybe I want to share that thing. I go to my share sheet. You saw originally that I could do markup, but now if I wanted to share this document, I could mail it to somebody, I could copy it to PDF Expert, I could share it with any of the people in my share sheets. So that's the first thing, just using your iPad, and obviously you can do this with notes as well. So next thing, what if I wanted to do something similar, but I wanted to do it on my Mac? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up a Pages document. Now I have a Pages document at my disposal, and you can see my iPad on the right, my Mac on the left-hand side. One of the things that Apple have introduced with Catalina is the ability to insert documents using your iPads and iPhones. Why? Because they're all tied together. So if I go to Insert, you'll see that if you go to many of your applications, so this iWork application, so it'd be Pages, it'd be Numbers, Keynote, you can do it in Preview. And of course, these tools are available to anyone else who writes software to embed it into their documents. So if I click Insert and say Import from my iPhone or iPad, you can see my iPhone and iPad are online here. So I'm going to go to my iPad. And the first thing I want to do is add a sketch. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to choose Add a Sketch. And you can see the screen on my iPad clears. And I don't know if you can see in the camera here, I can't really see it very well. I now have the ability to do some drawings. So if I do, let's make it a little thicker. Nice little. You can see I'm a highly trained artist. Let's give it a little green fill, green sun, with a happy face. Okay. Now, when I'm finished, I tap Done, and you can see that document or that thing that I've scanned has been inserted straight into my document. And now that it's in my document, I can resize it. I can place it wherever I want to. So this is a really nice, easy way of getting documents into your Mac using your iPad. So that was the thing. That was using a sketch. What if I wanted to insert a scan? Once again, I can go back to the same place. I'll say Scan Document, and the iPad opens up. I'm going to do exactly the same document. I'm happy with that. I'll tap Save. And now I have a scan document, which I can once again insert into here. It's just an image, but it's a PDF, but I can do, again, whatever I want with it. Now, I'm going to close up my, my iPad, and I'm going to open up my iPhone. So bear with me 1 second. And there's my iPhone. Just resize it slightly. And now I want to insert a photo. So let's go for my iPhone this time. And you'll see my screen should clear. There we go. I'll take a photo of my little friends here. I like that. I'm going to use it. And now the photo is inserted into my document. So using exactly the same technique on my phone, on my iPad, I can do sketches, I can do photos, I can scan documents. Anybody done that so far? Has anybody done this? Is this all new to you guys? Give me a thumbs up if it's new to you.
I need to just ask a funny question, Alan, if you don't mind.
I'll be the judge of that.
How do you
What,
get your
Mans?
iPhone? How do you get your iPhone? Let me just put on video. How do you get your iPhone to be on your screen?
I'll deal with that in the Q. I'll deal with that in the Q&As afterwards, Mans.
Okay, because I just wanted to do what you're doing while you're doing it, if it's possible.
You have to connect it and use QuickTime,
okay.
but I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it afterwards. Promise you.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go back to my iPad. So that's generic, getting information into your Mac from your iPad. I'm going to now go back to the iPad, do a new recording. Here we go. Okay, so now I want to go a little bit further. Instead of just scanning stuff, I want to scan stuff and turn it into a PDF. Maybe I want to do some OCR. I've got a document that somebody has sent me as a printed document, and now I want to scan it, and I actually want to OCR it so that I can copy and paste it and put it elsewhere. So there are a number of applications that do this. The one that I settled on eventually, because these ones, they tend to cost money. You get what you pay for. So I use something called Scanner Pro. And Scanner Pro allows you to scan documents, as it says on the left. So I'm going to tap plus, and once again, I'm going to try to hold this at a little bit of an angle so you can see how well it actually adjusts. No, I think it wants me to hold it. There we go. Okay, so you probably saw while I was doing that, that the image, let's just say done, I'm happy with that. That the image that I scanned was at a bit of an angle, and what it's done is it's actually done an auto correction. It's straightened the image and done all of that good stuff for me. So if I go to edit, like I had in in notes, I can now go in and adjust my image. I can adjust the brightness and contrast on this one. So I've got a little bit more granular control over here. I can adjust my brightness. There's my brightness has gone down, take it back up to the middle. I can adjust my contrast to make the image more or less readable. And I also have the same ability to change this from a black and white document to a color photo, to a grayscale photo. And obviously you just go through these depending on the nature of the image that you want and the quality that you want that image. But I'm going to turn this back to a black and white document, because one of the things that you can do with Scanner Pro now is I go to these actions and I can choose recognize document. And depending, you can see the number up the top here, it's doing it, okay. So now if I choose show as text, it's going to hide the image and it's going to, just tap on that. It's now going to show me the text. Now, I've had better results with this in the past, and it all depends on the lighting that you've got on the image. So the better the lighting is, and you might need to adjust it, but let's have a look and see how this does. I'm going to choose copy all over here. It's copied it. And now I'm going to go, let's take a Pages document. Let's make a new document. Tap on it and go paste. And I've just taken that document and OCR'd it. Now you can see that there's some that's not particularly well managed, recognized, but if I tap replace, you can see the capabilities. Let's see if I zoom in over there. The suggestion is actually capabilities. So if I tap in here, so it goes into the dictionary, and the iPad as well helps me to manage this. So now I can do a traditional scan, but I can also OCR it. I can grab the text, I can copy and paste it elsewhere. So that's using my iPad as a traditional document. Now let's say, for example, that, let's take a hypothetical situation where you may or may not have a beach cottage, and somebody may or may not go in and steal the copper pipes from the taps outside, and the water may or may not be running for 3 weeks, and you may or may not get a bill from the municipality for something in the area of 6,000 or 7,000 Rand. You might want to, this is purely hypothetical, you might want to get a rebate. So I just happened to get the Overberg people to give me a document so that I could demonstrate this for you. And let's close this out. I'm going to add a new document now. Okay. There's my document. Let's resize this a little bit so you can see it a bit better. So here's a form. You saw in notes before that I could use the markup tool, so I could fill this in by hand and then send it off. But what if I wanted to do something a little bit more official? Maybe this was a form that I had that I wanted to stamp. One of the things I can do over here is I can send this elsewhere. So I want to send this to an application. This is, again, also a paid piece of software, something called PDF Expert. And if I open this up in PDF Expert, I now have a high quality PDF editing software, which I can do things like insert a signature. And the one thing I particularly like about this is it has a series of stamps, which you can use their default ones, or you can create your own ones. So if this is something that I want to approve for payment, I just tap on there and I now have a PDF editor. I can use the text tools inside there to edit it, fill it in, tap text, tap where I want the text to be. I can start to type my name and just fill this in. And we're done. And I can move this around and so on. So again, using this to scan, fill in, edit, and then once that's done, I can share this, flatten it out, and now I have the usual tool. I can send it to my notes, I can send it to mail, I can send it wherever I want to. So I could share this with other people. So that's scanning and OCRing. Now, one of the things that I want to move on to is an extension of this ecosystem, because one of the things that you saw was when I OCR'd the document, I pasted it into pages inside my iPad, but it was introduced with Mojave, this thing called the Universal Clipboard. So if I go back to my OCR document, this one over here, and we have a look at the text. This time, what I'm going to do is I want to show you the Universal Clipboard. So over here, I'm going to tap Copy All, but instead of opening up a new document on my iPad, I'm going to go over to my Mac over here. I'm going to make a new document, blank document, and I'm going to go paste. And the text that I copied on my iPad is pasted onto my Mac. I don't know whether you guys know this is a feature, and it works the other way around. If I've got information on my Mac that I want to get into my iPad, I can copy it on my Mac, switch to my iPad, tap on the insert point and tap paste, and I'm good to go. So the Universal Clipboard is one other thing that you need to bear in mind, or if you don't know about it, it's a very useful tool to get information backwards and forwards without having to save a document somewhere or sending a document to yourself. You can literally just pick up, copy, paste, and you're good to go. The final thing that I want to show you isn't specifically related to the scanning and stuff, but it follows on from the Universal Clipboard. It follows on from this iCloud ecosystem. And we had a comment yesterday, by the way, somebody wanted to understand iCloud a little bit more. And we're going to show you how to do that in a future course next month. So one of the things that you've got is Handoff. Now, I don't know whether any of you are familiar with Handoff, but one thing what I'm going to do is you have the ability to start a document on one device and then carry it on another device without actually having to physically go and find that document on either device. Okay, I'm going to go to my mail and I'm going to create a new mail. And the thing I want you to look at over here is in the top right-hand corner on my dock. I tend to keep my dock on the right-hand side. Can you see that there's this dividing line between the Finder, and it's telling me that mail is being opened on my iPad Pro. So I'm going to address a new message. I'm going to send it to Angela. So I'm sitting on the bus, I'm sitting on the car, I'm sitting somewhere that I don't necessarily want to edit on my Mac. Let's say this is from DigiCape. And I'm going to say test Angelo. Okay. Now I get to my destination. I go, oh, I want to carry on editing this on somewhere else. I click here. It opens up my mail, and it opens up that document that I was working on. And now I can carry on my Mac working with Angelo. And vice versa. If I'm opening up a new document on my Mac, this is where my demo gods are going to fail me, but let's have a look at it anyway. If I'm opening up a demo document on my Mac, let's get the iPad open. Let's make a new document here, template. Can you see in the bottom right-hand corner of my doc, that little symbol over there? Let's just open this up, right? So this is on my Mac, that document you've just seen. If I switch to the iPad and tap on that, did I hit the iPad properly? Missed it, sorry. Let's go back to the iPad. Tap here. And yep, demo gods have failed me. I knew I took it one step too far. Let's try it one more time. Or maybe I'm just going too quickly, because a large document will take a little bit longer. But by the same token, as you saw me opening up, oh, yep, I can see it on my screen over here. I tap here again.
I just wanted to say there is a bit of a delay, Alan.
Yeah, it takes a few seconds and it's downloading. But I think the idea is you don't necessarily jump from your phone straight to your Mac to your iPad. You close your iPad up in the bus, you get to your machine and you tap it, and there's my document. So now we have the same document on both devices. And I filled my 20 minutes in perfectly. So that's my demonstration, that's my presentation. We're going to open it up to question time. What we did yesterday wasn't particularly the most effective. We unmuted everybody and then it became a little bit messy. So what we'd like you to do is, if you wouldn't mind, in the reactions over here, if you have a question, just in the bottom right hand corner, just put a thumbs up and we'll make a note and we'll unmute you and we'll get to your questions. So does anybody have any questions?
Any questions, guys?
Michael, okay, let me unmute you, Michael. Doesn't want to unmute.
Okay, I'll try it out.
How's that?
I've got
Hi,
you,
Mike.
yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Hi, Angelo. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I came just a little bit late. This is fairly new to me, but must say it's going to solve a lot of problems for me going forward. What is the difference, though, when you say scanning and OCR? I mean, scanning in my mind is I take a document, I put it into a scanner, it scans it and prints it out. Is scanning not the same thing as taking a photograph and then just saving it, or is this scanning
exactly.
it? It's exactly what it is. So if
exactly
I take my iPhone, I take a picture of a document. That's the same thing as a scan. And then I notice now that I can transfer, well, once it's here, I open up the picture, then I see all these little pencils come up.
You can mark them up now. So you can write on them and annotate them.
I see. So there's that and OCR is the same thing. So that's exactly what we're talking about.
No. OCR is a different thing altogether. OCR is when you take that scanned document and it applies some formulae to it, and it turns the image of the words into text that you can copy and paste. It stands for optical character recognition.
Aha, right. Okay.
So you don't have to type out that document again and
right.
search on it.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Anybody else? Guys, feel free to turn on your cameras so we can see you.
Robin.
Paul.
Robin just
Okay,
asked.
Paul Stevens, sorry, I see you've got a question.
Hi, yes. Someone alluded to it a little bit earlier in how you connect your iPad or your iPhone to your Mac.
Okay, it's a very simple process. You connect your iPad or your iPhone to your Mac with, if you're using an iPhone, you'll use a USB cable. If you're using an iPad, depending on which model you've got, you use a USB or you use a USB-C cable. And then what you do is you run QuickTime. And if you, let me just close this up so I can go through the process. I'll share my screen again so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, let's close that up. Okay, so if you open up QuickTime, depending on the defaults, usually it asks you to open up an existing document. But if you go to the file menu, you can make a new movie recording, a new audio, or a new screen recording. And if, by the way, if you want to record your screen for somebody else, you use screen recording. But I'm making a new movie recording. All right. Now, when I open up the new movie, it remembers where I was before. But if I go over the, where are you? This out of the way. Not really giving me a chance to, oh, there we go. So you see this little arrow here, just down by the right of the microphone button.
Yep.
This shows you what you can connect to. So I've got the built-in camera on my iPad. Oh, I'm sorry, on my Mac. I've got my iPhone, I've got my iPad. I've also got a Logitech webcam connected. So I can send it. So if I choose the FaceTime camera, boom, there's me without a virtual background. If I choose my iPad, there's my iPad. So I now have my iPad on my screen. Anything that I do on my screen appears there, and I can record this. So I can record this, save it as a file, and then send it off to somebody, and so on. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's brilliant. Thanks so much.
It's a dead useful tool. It's really lovely.
Next question is from Robin Allen. I'm just going to unmute Robin.
Sure.
Hi,
Robin,
Ellen.
go
Hi.
ahead.
Yeah, thanks. When you're scanning those documents into Word, I'm using Microsoft Word and the Microsoft
Right.
suite of products. Would it work with that as well, or only with the Apple proprietary software?
Not to the best of my knowledge. I don't think they've adjusted it yet. But it's not restricted to Apple products. Apple have made the capability for other people to add that into their products as well. So really just Microsoft just has to update their app in order to do it. I guess do bear in mind that that Pages is a free app, so you can use that to scan and then copy and paste into it. But if you want to get stuff into into Word, for example, and Word doesn't support it, the thing that I'd suggest you do is use Preview. Once again, I'll share my screen.
Thank you.
So if I use, you're familiar with the app Preview, it's the image tool that comes with every Mac. And you also have the ability to import from iPhone or camera. 11, scan document. There we go. Let's just take that doc. I'm going to be lazy now. I'm not going to stand up for this one. Come on. All right, let's do it manually. Keep the scan. And this should, come on. Oh, sorry.
That's right.
There we go. And here's an untitled document inside Preview. So I could select all, copy, or I could save it, paste it into Word, and so on. So in this case, I'd use Word as Preview as an intermediary between a program that doesn't support the scanning and the iPad. Does that help?
Super. Thank you for that.
Great. Any more?
Any other questions, guys?
Caro? And
Oh.
you want to unmute Caro?
Sure.
And I see Robin's got a question after this.
I don't know if you're ever going to go to iMovie, but I made an iMovie that's turned out to be 86 gigs. Is there any way of compressing that so that I can share the movie?
Yeah, there's quite a few ways of doing it, and I think we'll take that offline.
I'll email and
planning. Yeah, we're planning to do iMovie, but I wasn't quite sure whether maybe people over here, just show of hands. Anybody interested in an iMovie workshop?
It's brilliant.
Okay, it's done. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Okay, I'll wait till then.
No,
Okay.
no. We'll get back to you and give you a shout.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Robin, you had a question? No, you good?
Okay. I've got Abu that wants to ask you a question, Alan. I'll just unmute you.
No, it's fine, guys. I just wanted to put up my hand for that iMovie workshop.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great stuff. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, guys. Well, we came in bang on time. You know, the whole idea behind doing these very short presentations was not to overload it with information, to give you something you can take away and use immediately. So we hope we achieved our aims. We hope the Q&A was enough time for you to ask questions. A bit of shameless promoting over here. I don't know whether you guys know, but we have a YouTube channel where Angelo and I create videos and we upload them with how-tos. Just go to YouTube and search Digicate. And as for the rest, absolutely great to have you here. We're going to run 3 a week. We've already got next month's schedule planned out, and we really look forward to seeing you again and building this community. It's great having you here, and thanks so much for your engagement.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to put the link to our YouTube channel in the chat. So if you guys want to check it out, you guys are welcome to do that. I'll put it on immediately.
Thank you. Thank you very
and
much. Very helpful.
The other thing that we'll do is we'll post a recording of this. We will post a recording of this and send you guys a link if you want to go through it at your leisure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Yes. Bye.